Hi, I'm Molly Fisher, and for my primary nonfiction opening and read alouds, I am using Giant Trucks by Katie Marisco, and this book was recommended for 7 through 9-year-olds, so like end of first to third grade-ish. And the structure of this book is pretty much just describing or listing things about big trucks. It's really just an informative book about trucks, kind of like a chapter book. So some of my opening moves that I would use for this book is I would just start off by asking students some of their background knowledge. What do you know about trucks? What are trucks used for? What kind of trucks have you seen in Omaha, Nebraska? And we would just kind of talk about the different big trucks that we have seen or that we know about, or if we've seen them on TV, and we would just kind of list those. And then I might show some pictures before introducing this book, some pictures of my own that I found on trucks, and just asking them, do you know what these trucks are called? What's this truck? What is it used for? Let's make some predictions about what do you think the purpose or the job of this truck is. And then we would kind of talk about that to make those predictions that we would check later on in the story. The next thing is I would open up to the contents, and hopefully by this time your students have had some experience with the table of contents, but we would just kind of talk about it a little bit more with this book. So another opening move is just opening up this book and talking about the different chapters and categories that are in this book. So I would read off the chapters, Massive Movers, A History of Giant Trucks, Rumbling Along, The Wildest Wheeled Giants, and Down the Road. And I would read those little subcategories too. And then I would just ask the students, okay, if I picked this book out of my library and I wanted to know about what trucks were going to be like in the future, would I have to read this whole book, or could I jump to a page? And with this table of contents on the board for them to look at, we would talk about where would we go. And I would be looking for chapter 5, what do engineers envision for giant trucks in the future? So we would talk about how, if I wanted to know about trucks in the future, I could just go straight to page 39 and find some information on that. Or I could ask them, how have trucks changed throughout the years? Have they always been like they are today, or have they changed? And again, I would have them figure out where I would go in this book to learn some information on that. And I would be looking for page 13, A History of Giant Trucks. How have giant trucks changed since the 1800s? So we would really talk about how to utilize this content and how to use it to help us find the information that we're looking for. A few other text features in the back they have some statistics about trucks that are not otherwise in the book but are thought to be important. The resources that Katie Marisco used to write this book and where she got her information. Some important words, or like a dictionary for some of the harder words in this book. An index page, and a Meet the Author. So we would talk about some of those features too, and how to utilize those before we ever started reading. And then in the book there are a lot of pictures, and each picture has a little text box that talks more about what's in that picture or gives facts about whatever's in that picture. That would be useful for the students. It also has throughout the book this little like purple font that also talks about whatever picture is on that page, which is kind of a nice way of doing it. It stands out on the page. And then there are some more pictures with just some informative text boxes. So I am going to just read chapter 1 of this book, Massive Movers. Massive Movers. Workers are building a community center in a local park and the construction site is whirling with activity. Cement mixers blend sand, gravel, and water to make concrete. Dump trucks haul away debris. Meanwhile, a towering mobile crane raises and lowers construction materials. Thanks to these giant trucks, residents will be able to enjoy their new community center soon. And after reading that, we would talk about this picture and what they learned based on this text. What do you think they're building in this picture? And how do you know that? What are the trucks doing? What's their job? Next page. Heavy duty hauling. Cement mixers, dump trucks, and mobile cranes are examples of large vehicles that are often called giant or heavy-duty trucks. The term also applies to a wide variety of other vehicles that rumble both on and off roadways every day. These engineering wonders include garbage trucks, tank trucks, heavy haulers, and ballast tractors. A heavy-duty truck is defined by its gross vehicle weight, GVW. The GVW is the maximum weight a truck is able to carry. It includes the weight of a vehicle itself, as well as its fuel, driver, passengers, and the payload or cargo it transports. Most giant trucks have a GVW greater than 26,000 pounds. Some have a GVW of more than 33,000 pounds. So this picture shows some giant trucks must cross rough terrain in order to reach their destinations. Some of the world's heaviest trucks are the dump trucks used at mining sites. And there's a lot of information on these pages, so after each page I would probably stop and ask students if they had any questions or if they need anything clarified. Making transportation more efficient. Whatever their GVW, all giant trucks serve an important purpose. They make it easier for people to lift and carry heavy loads. Without these vehicles, it would be far more difficult to transport cargo and do construction work. With their help, trade, transportation, and industries ranging from waste management to land development take much less time and effort. This picture shows some truck trailers can be loaded from the side. It's kind of interesting. Giant trucks have evolved a great deal over time and will continue to do so in the future. Engineers work to design vehicles that are both powerful and environmentally friendly. Their efforts or changes with innovations or changes. Such changes and improvements have helped shape these massive engineering wonders. An employee checks the engine of a giant truck at a factory in India. And here's that final picture. It says horse-drawn carts transported most goods in the 19th century, particularly in towns and cities. So that picture goes with this chapter. So after reading this book, and we probably wouldn't read it all at once because it is a lot of information, but even after that first chapter, then we could talk about that list that we made at the beginning before reading the book of the different trucks that we know about. And I'm sure that we could be adding a lot to it after reading this chapter. Maybe there were some in this chapter that the students did say that we would, check. And